Hi, my name is Matthew, this is Makiah, and today I'm going to be teaching him how to use a CAD program to create a special kind of truss called an Octet Truss. So before I actually show you how to make one of these trusses, I want to explain what it's used for. So an Octet Truss is a special kind of truss used in aerospace applications, and it's used for structural stability. So as you can see here, these are 3 cells of this kind of truss. So each cell is made up of 2 pyramid shaped things. As you can see in the blue, there's one on the top, and if you can look down in there's another one on the bottom. And then there's also a total of 8 tetrahedron kind of shapes, which are shapes with 4 faces each. And each tetrahedron is mounted on a face of that double pyramid structure. So as you can see there's 2 pyramids, and then on the outside 8 tetrahedrons. Alright. And then once you make that one shape right here, so as you can see here, just that little square right there, you can duplicate it and arrange it however you want to form the kind of truss you need. Alright, so I want to go over some of the first few steps. So we're going to try to make that pyramid shape we saw. So I'm going to do those steps and then have you try them, and then we're going to go back and forth, alright? Okay. So first things first, we have to start our sketch, and then we're going to start with the center rectangle, and what we're going to do is just make a square 1 inch by 1 inch, alright? Okay. So we're going to do that, and then from there, we're just going to put a little diagonal line over from the center, and then that'll be helpful later, alright? Okay. So I just want you to go ahead and try to do that, alright? So remember what to do, you start with your sketch. Yep. Right here. Yep. Remember the dimensions. Lines. Alright. Just bring your line over to the corner. Alright, nice job. Okay. So from here, what we're going to do, you're familiar with your loft command, right? Yep. So that takes a face and brings it up to a singular point to make a shape. So what we're going to have to do now is find out how high that point has to be from the base. So that way we can have a pyramid with a bunch of equal edges. So what we're going to do is start with the offset plane here, or plane at an angle actually, and then we're going to use that diagonal we made. Come up 90 degrees here. And then what we're going to do from here is just form a triangle. So we're going to take a sketch on that new plane we formed. Make sure you project that line you made, and then what you're going to do now is just figure out how high this line needs to be to have that 1 inch, and it'll also be at the center. So if you just type in 1 inch here and then just try to guess, that's not going to work. So what we're going to do instead is use a little bit of simple math. So what we're going to do is we're going to measure from that point to here, to the center, okay, and then what we're going to do is take that distance and copy it. So you know your Pythagorean theorem, right? So a squared plus b squared equals c squared. We're trying to solve for c squared. Actually, we know c squared. We're trying to solve for a squared. So we know, that is your a squared. So a squared plus something squared equals 1. Because remember, 1 is that equal edge that we're trying to get. So what we need to do is solve for x. So bring that over to the other side, and then what you're going to do is subtract to that side. Remember, we take away those inches from when we copied it, and then now what you have to do is just take the square root of it. So you just take that, and then take it in your square root, okay? So that's the number we need, alright? So I'm going to take that, copy it over, and then now that's going to be the height of this line right here, alright? So we're going to go back into our sketch where we're already there. Come up, and then paste that value in, alright? Okay. So now this gives us a point right there where we can loft the shape to, alright? Yeah. So do you want me to go over and try to do all that math again, just so you have that solidified? Right. Sure. So we're going to go over your side. Alright, take it away. And at an angle, yep. Use your line you made, and bring it up 90. Yeah, there you go. So now you do your sketch on there, remember? Yeah, make sure you project that line, so that way you can see it on your sketch. Yep. Go back there. Okay, now you have to figure out what that length is. So you use your measure tool. Good job. Yeah. And then make sure you select the right line. So make sure you clear that selection. Alright, look up a little bit so that we can see the line. Yep, and then make sure you select the right one. There you go. Alright, now copy that length right there. And then then put it into your formula. Okay, so you can just delete that. So remember, that's your a squared. You have to square it, yep. And then that plus something squared equals 1. There you go. Okay. Yep, sorry. So remove it from that side.
Just take this one.
Yep, just take the square root. Oh yeah, make sure you stay in that one. There you go. And then that's your value. Okay. Yep, so now you come back, make a line going up vertically from the center point. Yep, so just take your line tool, go up, and then make sure you paste in that distance, right? Alright, nice job. Yep, there we go. As you can see, you made a line going up. So now when we do our loft, that's going to give us the right edge line. Alright. So now we have this vertical line coming up with the right height. So what we're going to do is come over, finish our sketch. We're going to loft it up from that square face. So we're going to find our loft tool, bring it up to that point. And then now, just so we can check, see that's a side length of 1 inch. Come over here, and that should also be 1 inch, and yes it is. Alright, so before we go on, let's just do that, alright? So, what do you do first? Finish sketch, yep. Find your loft, yep. Pick it up, and then just go like that. Nice. And if you want to check, just use this stuff. So, yep. So that's 1 inch, yep. And then it's also 1 inch. Alright. Made it. Okay. So from here, what we're gonna do is try to shell this out so we're saving on materials, because that's how the trusses work. We don't use like real solid shapes. We have to try to cut out as much material as we can. So first thing we do is come over to the bottom side, and we can hide that sketch so it's not in the way. And we're gonna do a little shell here. So we're gonna shell this. Let's say 0.1, just make it easy. Let's do 0.1, and then that just takes out a lot of the volume from the inside. So now what we have to do is shell out all of these sides. It's not gonna work the same though, because if you see here, if you try to shell too far in, it's just not gonna cut it. So what we can do instead is we're gonna do a boundary fill. So we're gonna rewind first to before the shell, and what we're gonna do is just duplicate the shape. So you're gonna do a move, and then we're gonna try to just do a copy. So you just bring that over, just a little bit, and then now what you do is bring that copied shape back onto there. So now you have two of the same shape. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Alright. You want to try to give that a go? So don't do the shell, just make the copy and move it back over. Alright, let's go to move, just press M. Yep. And then make sure once you select it, you do check the create copy. Alright, there you go. Yep. Just bring it over, okay, and then bring it back. Alright, nice. Alright, so now we have a pyramid that has that shell cutout, and we have one that doesn't have that cutout. So what we're gonna do is find a way to make a shape that fills in that cutout. Alright, so we're gonna show this again. You can hide the sketch for now. And then we're gonna go to our boundary fill. So the boundary fill separates where the two shapes that you're selecting are intersecting and where they don't. Alright, so first you have to select both of these shapes, and then now just select the check mark that's on the bottom. So that's gonna give you, if you hide these shapes, it's gonna give you that smaller pyramid here. So as you can see, that small pyramid is going to fit into this large pyramid here. So just make sure you select both of those shapes in your boundary fill. So yeah, show that. Go to your boundary fill down there. Yep. So make sure you select both the bodies and then select the bottom check mark. Alright, nice.
For a second.
Yep. Alright. So from here, now what we're going to do is take that shape and we're going to use that to cut out of all the other sides. So what we have to do now is, what we're going to do just to make it easier, we're going to duplicate this a few times and then we're going to align them later. So just do this, create your copy, move it over, and then since there's 4 more sides to cut out from. We're gonna do this 4 times. So we're just gonna go over here, create your copy, move over, yep, and then just do that. So you have 4 new shapes. Yep, and then all the way over 4. Okay, so just do that. Just make 4 copies of that tiny little pyramid.
Of the tiny one?
Yep. Yeah, so make sure you check your create copy and then move it over. Yep. And then you're going to do that 4 times. Alright, so now what we're going to do is take all of these new pyramids and we're going to align them to these faces so we can cut them out. Alright, so what we're going to do is go to modify, select your align tool, go to the center of that pyramid and bring it over to the center of there. So you're going to do that, and for each side you're going to use a new little pyramid. So you're going to go over here, use the align to this side, and just keep doing that. So go over, align, make sure you turn around, align to the main pyramid, and do it for your last one. So go over here, select, and then align it to here. And now you have, you can see here, you have a bunch of tiny little pyramids that all fit within that large pyramid, alright?
Okay.
So make sure you show that large pyramid again. Yep, line, bring it over. Alright, nice job. So now what we're going to do is just use our merge tool. So we're going to make our target body the one that we want to keep, which is that large pyramid. And then now if we want to hide that, all the small pyramids are what we're going to use to cut out of that large pyramid. So all you have to do is just click on each of those and make sure you have it selected to the cut operation. So as you see here, if you show that again, it's going to cut out, and now we have an actual truss here. Do you see that? Cut out from every side, and then all the overlaps, just let it make this new shape, alright?
Okay.
So just try to do that now.
So modify.
Yep. So you go to merge or combine, yeah, combine. And then select your target, which is the big pyramid. Yeah, you already have it shown. And then make sure you hide that so you can see all the small ones. So select all your small pyramids. Yep. Make sure you get the bottom one too. Nice. Alright. And then just click OK. And then you want to show that body through again. Alright, nice. So from here, now all we have to do is do the same thing for a pyramid with a base of 3 sides. And then we have all the shapes that we need. Alright?
Alright.
Alright, so now we're going to make the same kind of truss shape, but for a pyramid with a base of 3 sides. Okay, so what we're going to do is come over and make a sketch on that base plane, and then we're going to make an edge polygon. So that's going to let us make a triangle that still has a side length of 1 inch, alright?
Okay.
So there we go, type in 1, and then when you bring it over, once you click, then you can just type in 3 and click enter. So now each edge has a side length of 3, alright?
Okay.
Of 1 inch.
Create.
Yep.
Polygon.
Edge polygon. Yep. Yep. Just leave that as 0 for the angle, and then make sure you click. Yeah, just click, and then make sure you type in 3.
3.
Yep.
That's it.
Yep. And then now what you're gonna do is come over and make sure your sketches are shown. We're gonna go back over here and then do the same thing where we're trying to make that top side. So remember, this is a side length of 1. So what we can do now is come to our sketch again, and then we're gonna just make a line through that middle point and one of the outer points. Alright? We're gonna do that, make sure the sketches are shown again, and then we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna make our plane at an angle, alright? Do that again. Alright, and then I'm gonna go through all these steps again since you've done this, alright?
Okay.
So then I'm gonna go over here, make sure you project that middle point and that edge point. So now remember, your side length is 1, that's your c squared. So that's your c squared, and then now you need your a squared. So you know your a right here, you can measure that, it's like 5.7. So look, if you come over here and measure that, copy that into our calculator, and now instead of doing all that work again, you can just paste it right into here, alright? And make sure you delete the inches. So now this gives us our b, alright? So remember, that's our c, that's our a, and then once you do the square root of each and then the square root, it gives you that output number, alright?
Okay.
So now this one's actually a little bit trickier, because now what we have to do is bring that up, and it's going to be a different length than that a, alright? So that's going to be up by the amount that we just found, and make sure it's at 90 degrees. Okay.
So, make the line.
Yep. So make sure you start with your sketch again.
Oh.
Yep. Oh yeah, that's good. That's good. And then line up to the vertex. Yep. There you go. Okay. Now you're gonna do your plane at the angle. Yep. So finish your sketch. Yep. So find your plane at angle. Oh. There you go. Yeah. Now make sure you click that edge and go up 90 degrees. Yep. So now you can do a sketch on there. It's fine if it's upside down, you can just turn it around. Yep.
And then find the measurement for
Yep. So just use your inspect. Yep. From there, over, and make sure you click on the point, not the line, alright? So click on, yeah, so if you just move your mouse around, there you go. So copy that in, and then make sure in your calculator you just paste it into where that other number was. Yep, there you go. Just paste it in, and you'll get the same number, but yeah, there you go. So now you copy that number, and then that's going to be your height. Yeah, so make sure we flip it around now. So, could I, yeah, you got it. There you go.
Okay.
So make sure you bring your line vertically up from that center point. So use your line tool. Go from the center point, yep, there you go. And bring it up that much. Alright, now just press enter. Alright, there we go. Alright, so now we're just going to do the same thing, do your loft again, and then let's check if that's the right distance, right? So if we can see here, this is going to be 1 inch, yep. And then that's also 1 inch for our edges, just about. Okay.
One inch.
Alright. So from here, now we're just gonna do our shell and our boundary fill again. So remember, first things first, do your copy, move it over, move it back, alright? So do that, and then after that, remember what's next?
Shell? Or
Yep, that's all you have to do, just do your shell on one of them. Okay, alright, nice job for remembering. Yeah, so there we go. So do the copy and then do the shell, alright? Yep, you can just check the box, there you go. Move it back. Yep, and then just on one of them, you just do your shell. Alright, nice. Okay, so now we're going to do the same thing. We're going to find out how to do our boundary fill. So we hide the shape that doesn't have the shell. Okay, and that's just so we can select easy. But you don't have to do that. So just make sure you select both of these shapes. And then select the bottom cell, alright?
Okay.
Remember, select that bottom cell. So just try it. Okay, and then now remember, we're gonna hide those shapes just so we can see the small pyramid, and then we're gonna duplicate that. So just go ahead, duplicate that. Remember now, since we only have 3 new faces instead of 4, see 1, 2, 3, then all we have to do is 3 copies instead of 4. So we're gonna move that, let's just do it 3 times. So that's 1, and then 2, and then 3. All right. Yep, just make sure you check that box. All right, nice job. We're almost there. Okay, so now we're gonna come back and make sure we show that shape again, and then we're just gonna do our lines again. So we're gonna go to modify, make sure you select that face, match the face over here. Same thing for the other 2 sides. So make sure you align it right there and right there. And then I'm just gonna go ahead and also do the combine. So make sure you select your target body as the large pyramid, tool bodies as the small ones, and then after we're gonna do our cutout. So make sure it's selected on the cut operation, and there you go.
No, align.
Yep. So make sure you show your big pyramid again. There you go. Align. There you go. Yep, and just do the same thing for the other 2.
And then combine.
Yep. And make sure you use your cut. So just use the combine tool. Yep. And make sure you select your target as the big pyramid. Alright, nice job. Okay. And then make sure you show that again. Yep. There we go. Okay. Alright, so now our fun part. So we're going to use our align tool and then get a bunch of these little 3-sided base pyramids and put those on the faces of this new shape we made. So what we're going to do is select this corner piece right here with our align tool, and then we're going to come over to the matching side on the new pyramid thing, and then we're going to select that corner right there. So it doesn't look right yet, but what we're going to do is use our rotate tool and our move command. Select that, select our axis, and then now all you have to do is rotate that down until it matches. So that's their angle, 110 degrees. So do you want to try that?
Okay.
So use your align tool first. Yep. Select the corner. Now select the corner on there. Oh yeah, make sure instead of that corner, you're using the one that's closest to it. So if you click the X here, all you have to do is select the corner that's closest.
So this.
Yep. Make sure it's in line though. Yep. So you can scroll in a little bit, and then yep, hold Control. There you go. Yeah, click on that. All right, nice. And then you can just use the flip tool because it's pretty inconsistent. All right, now just click OK, and then how are you gonna rotate it?
Move.
Yep. Use your move command. Yeah, select the body, and then select your axis that you rotate. And then just rotate it down 110. There you go. All right, nice. So now all we have to do now is make copies of this shape right here. So what we're gonna do, just to make it easy, we're gonna use an axis, bring it through the center of these 2 pyramids here, and then we're gonna do a circular pattern around that. So that's what we're gonna do. So how do you do that?
Construct axis through 2 points.
Nice. Yep. Bring it all the way down. All right. Good job. Okay. So now we just gotta use our circular pattern. So find your circular pattern. Click on your triangular truss thing. Bring it around and make sure you type in 4. So that way it matches the number of sides on that top pyramid.
Right.
Okay, just give it a second. There you go. So go to create and find your circular pattern. It's at the bottom. Yep. Go to pattern.
Oh, pattern.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, circular pattern. Click on your object and then find your axis. Yeah, make sure you already have 4, so just click OK. All right, nice. All right, last step here before we duplicate this cell here is we're just gonna mirror all 4 of these triangles over the mid base. So what we have to do is hide this shape here and then find where the base face is. So as you can see that little yellow plane in there, it's hard to see, but if you click on that, it'll just mirror it for you. All right, so you see that? Now we have this cell piece of our truss here, and then you can re-show that body. Yeah. So just try to find that origin face. All right. So make sure you hide the pyramid, the double pyramid thing.
Mirror.
Yep. So find your mirror. It's in create. And there you go. Yeah. Make sure you hide that. Now select your 4 bodies. There you go. Okay, now find that mirror plane. So you gotta go to select and find that yellow plane. Nice job. Okay. Alright, now you can re-show that pyramid shape. Alright, cool. Alright, so now we have one of our cells for the truss. So we're really close to being done. So all we have to do is merge all of these shapes that we just made here. So make sure you select that inside pyramid there and all the outside little triangle shapes. And then just click OK. Make sure you're doing it join. Alright? There you go.
So
you go to combine. It's in your modify. There you go. All right. Select all 4 of the outside shapes and the inside one. Yep. Just join. All right. Nice job. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna use this one little shape here and then duplicate it a bunch of times. All right. So what we have to do now is find our axis that we can make a pattern along. So we're gonna do an axis through these 2 corners here, and then another axis through these 2 corners here. All right, there we go. And just do those 2 axes.
So,
I'll leave that other part. I have to like make it a signal. Okay. Okay, so now what we need to do is make 2 axes that we're gonna do our pattern along. Alright? So we're gonna take it through these 2 corners, and then another axis, and then another one through these 2. Alright. Yep, so through those 2 corners. Yep. And then another one. There we go. So now we're just gonna go over and start our pattern. So we can take this one shape, take the 2 axes we just made, and then all we have to do is just show how many times we want to duplicate it. So you just bring it over. Let's just do 4 for now. So we're gonna bring it over another tiny little bit here, and then for our how many we want wide, let's just do 2. All right.
Okay.
Now we're just gonna do 2, and then we just gotta make sure it looks like it's in line, alright? If they overlap a little bit, that's better because they just join in the end, alright? So just click OK, and there we go. So now you try that. Select your 2 axes. Yep. And let's do 4 and 2, alright? So 4 that way. Yep, and make sure they're spaced out pretty good. There we go. And then 2 that way. All right, there we go. So as you see here, we've made our truss. High five, Makiah.